Hello and welcome to Being One Show. My name is Ken Campbell and I'm here to bring you a wonderful show on marriage. Also, this is PrayerCaveTV and I know we have many people that are watching us all over this nation and even outside this nation. Pokeani salamu zetu hapa kutoka PrayerCaveTV and karibuni sana. Please talk to us on the number on your screen right there, even on our Facebook page and on YouTube. We are live right there. Na utakuwa wa baraka sana. Somebody said, let me quote someone here who said, an unhealed person can find offense in pretty much anything someone does. A healed person understands that the actions of the others have nothing to do with them. Each day you get to decide which one you will become. Indeed, we've been talking about traumatic experiences and how they affect marriages and families. And we've seen in our previous episode on that unless those traumatic experiences are attended to, then you might live an adulthood in survival mode. And so today we are going to continue on the part 2 of that and even add more and even bring you to the place of healing in the name of Jesus Christ. And so without taking so much time, please allow me to welcome our guest. She's not new on PrayerCaveTV, but we are going to be on a journey in this class. So karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Welcome.
Mr. Ken.
Welcome. It's good to have you back.
Thank you.
On Being One Show.
I'm happy to be back.
Na unapendeza.
Asante sana.
Asante. All right. Karibu sana. Maybe in a minute or so you can introduce again, because PrayerCaveTV is growing. We have new viewers every day.
Okay.
So kindly on this camera you can introduce yourself to them.
It's wonderful to meet you once more. And those new ones, you're very much welcome. My name is Virginia Kimani. I am a born-again Christian. I love Jesus so much. And beside that, I'm married, and I'm a married woman to a man. Actually, I like specifying that in our age. Things have really changed. I have to tell it's a man called Kimani. And I'm happy to be married, and God has blessed our union and has given us 2 beautiful adult girls. And the firstborn is 25 years, and the secondborn is 23 years. The secondborn is about to finish campus. The other one has finished, and I thank God for that. Beside that, I'm a counselor. I'm a counseling psychologist, and also a trainer. I teach theological courses, and I bless God for that. Yes. As a believer of who I am. Yes. To the new person who have just joined us.
That is true.
Yes.
That is true. And even what we are saying is that you can even go back to our previous episode that we did.
Yes, we can.
I think there was also a lengthy introduction right there of the many caps that she has.
Okay.
And so please make it a point to go on our YouTube. That is PrayerCaveTV.
Yes.
And upata kumjua zaidi.
Yes.
And so allow me to refer to you as Madam Virginia.
Yes, it's all right with
Thank
me.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, we started on a journey about traumatic experiences. And that episode was amazing.
Wow.
Good feedback from our viewers and many people who watched. Asanteni sana. Now, maybe we can give them a recap of probably what we said, even as we send them to our YouTube.
Back to our YouTube.
Yes.
Yes, we defined trauma. And we said trauma is experiencing or witnessing a very overwhelming, shocking, or even a dangerous event that is beyond your coping mechanism.
That is true.
It is just beyond you. You cannot cope. The mind now have experienced an overwhelming event that you are unable to cope with. So that's the definition we gave for trauma. Yes.
Wow. Wow. That is good. And we did that. We did that. And we saw how the brain does not like experiencing pain. Yeah.
And what normally happens when you experience trauma or that such a kind of an event, you know, the mind is overwhelmed.
Yeah.
It cannot cope with the event. So the tendency of the mind is to push it aside to the unconscious.
That's true.
And so when you face other triggers is something that can bring a reminder of what we went through. Then it becomes fatal and it becomes very dangerous and very bad. That's why we have to attend to traumas. And I said that at that moment, if you remember, is the time we had just experienced flood in our nation.
That's true.
And we were wondering who went forth and helped our children. They are back to school. Yes, we are pushing the open school. There are those children who experience those traumatic events, especially the Maimahio incident.
That's true. Yeah.
It was just swept the valley, but there were survivors. Now those survivors, if they are not helped, that experiencing or witnessing, you know, like somebody can witness a very bad event, overwhelming event. We are saying it's overwhelming because it is beyond our mind. Now, if they are not helped, they develop PTSD. We talked about PTSD.
Yes, we did.
Post-traumatic disorder. Yes. So if they are not helped, and they carry those, we call them in counseling, some call them baggages or dragons. You know, you carry it with you. And in case it is triggered by a crosser event like that one, or a reminder, something, you know, it brings trouble to somebody, and then it brings a lot of conflicts, a lot of anxiety, and you cannot hold your life together. That's why we said it is very important to address.
Wow. I remember even us talking about now how those traumatic experiences, even from childhood, eventually they will come and, you know, start interfering with your marriage, start interfering with even the keys that you're going to have in your family.
Yes.
Yeah, and it was really, really a challenge.
Yeah, and it's good maybe to mention, to remind them. We mentioned, but it's good to mention again.
Yes.
What causes such overwhelming events? One, we have just mentioned one, the other day, the flood that struck. That is a natural calamity or disaster that strike in a nation, and it causes death, and people experience a lot of losses, and if not attended, it can affect those people, especially children. We said you are talking about childhood. It can affect them in their adulthood.
That is true.
And also marriage conflict begins there if they are not attended. Another one we said is rape or violence, sexual harassment, sexual violence, sexual abuse, or incest in the family. You know, there are some children with their uncles and with their aunties. That's why these days there is no visitation as such. You know, earlier, those old days, we would just close school and send our children to their uncles, to aunties, to shows, grandpa. But these days is a bit different.
Unfortunate.
Because, because now other people have become, you know, tormentors of young children. So that is another way it can affect somebody through sexual harassment, sexual abuse. And it can also come out of traumatic accident, sudden tragic accident you witness, or maybe you are injured and it was sudden. So it can also create as a reminder, and that's why you see many people who have ever been involved in accidents, traveling is an issue unless it is addressed. And also sudden death of a loved one, like or the significant people we have, our mother, our parents, our siblings. So it can also cause those trauma. Those are the cases we need to address. And if somebody is there watching, and you have ever gone through some of those things I have mentioned, sudden death, loss of a loved one, even if there was prolonged sickness, losing a part, there is always hope of recovery. But if they just die and one day you just find your parent is not there, it's really traumatizing. And as counselors, we take them a process we call loss and grief process. There are 5 stages there. We can I know we have handled them, maybe they have been handled here, where you take somebody through loss and grief. It can also be loss, like the Gikomba fire. You remember
even the recent one.
Yeah, the recent Gikomba fire. We saw somebody just literally becoming unconscious and taken to the hospital just because he had invested 3 million and in one day it is ashes. So that is something very traumatizing.
That's true.
And maybe it was a loan.
Probably,
you had hanged your title deed there in the bank, and now one day it's gone. That thing is very also traumatizing. So those are the areas we touched last time. Yes.
Wow. Wow. It's good that you have mentioned some of those things that causes trauma, because so that people can relate with such, because those are the foundational things that we want to deal with.
Foundations.
We want to deal with them right now.
Yes.
And out of that, Madam Virginia, out of all those that you have mentioned right there, let's translate that into now marriage. And he is an expectant mother, all right, who has suffered probably all those things, probably sexual violence, probably something that happened to their family back then, and now she's pregnant. How can it even
now, especially at least somebody pregnant already has gotten a spouse.
Oh yes.
Already has conquered. When somebody suffers trauma or a traumatic event, it is normal. The first thing they suffer is making healthy relationship. So already a pregnant person, maybe married, has already at least overcome that challenge a little bit to some percentage. But when they are pregnant, they are already pregnant, and then let's say, for example, she was involved in an accident, and she is expecting a baby, and then you see they have to travel either through the public means or private means. The minute there are 3 things we normally call reminders about trigger. One is the noise. Your mind is able to record a noise that first appeared before the traumatic event. The other thing is the smell. You smelled something, and then an event occurred. That smell will never disappear. Anytime you smell that, it triggers something. The other one is a sound. A sound, a kind of, or a tune or a music that was there in a vehicle before the vehicle rolled. So any of these reminders, they keep, let me talk about some of what normally happen. There are psychological effects of trauma. They are also physical, and they are also behavioral. So psychological, they bring us to a lot of anxiety and or depressing moments. You see, or shock, or sometimes numbness. Now we have talked about a pregnant woman, and she's pregnant. Maybe she's going to a clinic, and then a reminder or a song that was sung before an accident she experienced, and it was not handled, and she's expecting it will remind her, and there's that kind of a shock in her, numbness. sometimes there is heart race, you know.
Yes.
Now you see the child is already in danger.
Yeah, true.
You see, the child is endangered, the woman is endangered. So that's why we are saying it's good you handle these issues, you go through the healing process, so that when you get pregnant, you prepared for such. You have already dealt with that. So she's at risk.
Yeah.
Even the fear of entering into the matatu, the reminder of that song, or if she was raped, then she's in the hospital, and then that kind of a smell come back. It triggers. And this woman can feel numbness, shock, anger, irritability, you know, all those things normally happen.
That's true.
So it's good to go through the healing, because there is such chances of miscarriage.
That's true.
Chances of you know, the attachment with the mother and the baby is so close. Emotionally, even the baby. We normally say what happens in the physical surrounding to the woman affects the child.
That's true.
So even that child, because of this heart race, shock, you know, numbness, and sometimes a lot of anger, and you know, those shocking moments, they affect the baby.
That's true.
So even the baby's health, psychological health, even physical growth in the womb, it is affected.
That's true.
So we need healing.
We need healing. Let me ask on that point. You see, now, especially to the, you know, these young people who want to, you know, get into marriage institution. She experienced, or he experienced sexual abuse, you know, when they were children, their childhood. So how can it affect their relationship? You know, how can that traumatic experience affect their relationship? Probably it's the lady who was raped. How are they going to handle this?
Yeah, that's good, and it's important, because this one, many when we get married, we want to be happy.
We do.
And everybody want to be happy, and it was meant like that by God. But when they go into the marriage without being healed of the previous wounds, it will service back. So we need to, that's why we talked about premarital counseling. You remember, we talked about, we encourage, and I really even again encourage the youths, once they are in courtship, let them do premarital counseling. Because premarital counseling, we have 12 lessons there. Many churches have 12 lessons there that they handle. And through those lessons, they are able to get to know one another. And especially the personality types. And then the experiences they went through in their childhood or in their family of origin. Not just traumatic events, but other issues they suffered in their family of origin. So they are able, they share a lot. And I remember I said, when, you know, because some kind of a self-disclosure, I never went premarital. That time hazikuweko. It's unfortunate. So every time we met with my husband, hakukuwa na story ya kudisclose what we are expecting. Ni kuangaliana, admiration, you are beautiful, your eyes, your nose, your teeth, the way you smile, the way you laugh, and the hours are gone. But we encourage today, because things are, marriage is really being shaken, and it is being attacked from every angle. So it's good to prepare for it. And we are suffering a lot of marriage breakage. We are seeing it a lot. So we are encouraging, instead of wasting those 2 beautiful years of courtship and you are planning nothing, go through premarital counseling. One of the lessons you talk about those personalities. You talk about the weakness of every personality, so you know how to behave with the different personality type. You talk about finances. You talk about your experiences in the past that can affect marriage, what can hinder. You know, that time they will be able to remember and disclose some of the things they went through. And because they have marriage therapists, they are able to be helped, and also to face those challenges. So we encourage 100% premarital crisis. And if you want your marriage to last, and everybody who is looking for a happy marriage, please engage to premarital counseling. It's very, very healthy. Even sex, how do you approach sex? It's trained there.
It is.
Yeah.
True.
What and checkups, I like that, because holy wedding, and then we encourage them for holy wedding. There will be premarital counseling, there will be checkups.
That is true.
Thank you.
That is true. And I like that. Please, young people.
Yeah.
Especially for they that are in Word of Faith Church.
Yes.
There is a 6 months course on that.
Oh, 6.
6 months. So if you want to do your wedding in 2025, I think it is the right time.
It's the right time.
Now, there is the issue. I want to dwell a bit also on the issue of sexual abuse.
Yes.
And suppose this lady, during, or rather at that moment when she was sexually abused, she got pregnant. Right?
Yes.
And now she decided, I'm not going to abort, which we actually
we encourage no abortion.
No abortions.
Abortion is murder.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
So, and the baby is born.
Yes.
So at some point, the baby would want to know their father.
Yes.
Would want to know, their origin, probably, in quotes. So, but this parent telling the child the truth, how will it affect the child?
I say it is very important for the mother to disclose the father, because even if we hide, at some point this child will not remain a child forever.
True.
They are growing.
But Madam Virginia,
yes,
how will I tell that child that she or he is a product of rape?
Depending with the age.
Okay.
The child will demand to know the father. But disclosing about the rape, I would encourage the lady first of all to heal.
Okay.
Because if you go to disclose it to the child when you're not healed, you cause more traumatic issues. You can even affect the child psychologically. True. So it's good to first of all to seek healing, and then do the disclosure at the right time.
Okay.
And seeking a professional is also good. So you know how to disclose what happened. But sometimes if it's not necessary, we look for the healing of the mother.
Yeah, true.
Healing of the mother. And also when you're disclosing the father, if the woman is not healed, they'll cause more trouble to the child. Because of course they are bitter. We talked about somebody becomes bitter, detached, there's avoidance and all these things, all those symptoms. And there is anger, you see, and insult. I know of a case, the child wanted to know the father. And because it was known in the society and it was handled but hidden, just to remove that shame, it was hidden. But the woman was always bitter when that name is mentioned, that person is mentioned. But you see, the child doesn't know. And she is looking, girls will always want to know their fathers, so they will trace. But every time this mother is disclosing, is talking about, don't ask about that animal, don't talk about that beast, and something insult. There's a lot of insult. There's a lot of hidden bitterness and irritability. So the mother need to seek healing first before so that once he is healed, he can. It's advisable, even it's not necessarily you have to disclose what happened to the child. Sometimes, but if need be, because of the story of in the community, you do it with a professional help, so that the baby will also not suffer low self-esteem. Am abused, I'm unwanted.
Yeah.
I am product of rape. Such woods, avoid such woods in this child for the protection of her future.
That's true. Maybe on the same, before even we take our first break.
Yes.
Here, I want us to bring in the church in this, because we have people,
yes,
or church members who have gone through that, and they are still in church and they are not yet healed.
Yeah.
As far as hata kama wataenda kwa the counselor, what is the role of the church in helping this person?
Now the church has a very big role, and that question is very good, because a church should act like a family.
I like that.
We need God's hand, as our bishop always say, and we need man's hand.
True.
That is, those are the professional counselors.
True.
We also need knowledge.
That's true.
All those things are very, very important. So the church should have a counseling department.
Oh, yeah.
Let me say that. We already have a counseling department, I mean a marriage department here. But how effective is it? Because here in the church, in any church, there are so many people who are suffering trauma.
Many.
Traumatized from different angles. This is what to mention.
Yes.
All those causes: natural calamity, abuse, rape, sexual harassment, and all these. You know, people have undergone those issues, and not many know the importance of healing.
True.
So they are suffering inside. That's why you can see, as we said earlier on, marriages are breaking.
They are.
Because there are signs. Nimetaja psychological, irritability, anger at sometimes. They are also behavioral, withdrawal. You see, somebody just withdraws, detachment from the person. And there are also other, we call them behavior, is physical, sleeplessness, akuna kurara, there is that rapid heartbeat. There is sexual dysfunctional, no appreciation, exhaustion from nothing. You see, because these things are not handled.
Yes.
So we see signs of those. So people are suffering, and because the other partner doesn't know what you are going through, they don't understand why you are withdrawing, why you are detached all of a sudden, why you are sleepless. Most of the time you are sleepless. Why maybe sexual union is not operational, or there is no joy in that institution. You know, people, your partner don't know, but you are suffering. That's why we said it is important to share. You see, and it is very important before you get married, share those experiences with a counselor. Or a confident person, but somebody knowledgeable about counseling, so that they can take you through the process of healing. And once you are healed from that, even when you get into marriage, you'll have to enjoy your marriage. And then you share with your partner. Sharing with your partner, but also sharing with your partner. You know, a partner is not a healer and is not a therapist. So you have to know that the techniques of sharing these issues with your partner.
Wow, Madam Virginia, that is really good. And I want us to touch on that section, especially, you know, the issue of the church and the role the church needs to play, especially when it comes to, you know, bringing the healing to these people who have been traumatized. We are going to take a short break.
Thank you.
When we come back, we are going to continue with this wonderful episode, because at the end of this episode, we want to make sure that you get healed. And even so, you probably get to know where you can find that healing, because it's there. And by the way, she will tell us why people, you know, fear counselors. It's because of the fees, or I don't know what. She will tell us after this short break.
You are going to
see. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Welcome back. This is Being One Show. My name is Ken Campbell, and we have our guest who is a counselor, Madam Virginia Kimani. She has really taken us through, those causes of traumatic experiences, and we have touched a little bit on the healing part and more emphasis on you getting healed, because you don't have to live with this for the rest of your life. There is a way out, and in this second part we are going to deal with that way out. And even before we get to that point, allow me to ask you this question, and karibu sana tena.
Asante.
We mentioned that it is good for couples to communicate, to talk, to share with each other, especially if you have suffered such traumatic experiences. It's good you share with your spouse. And so maybe you can tell us, you can maybe add on to that, how do I share that painful topic to my spouse?
Yeah, this is a very good question again. Because once we are in courtship, we hide a lot, and we don't want to share, because we are fearing, if I may share and then we part and I love you, it is a problem. But we normally say marriage has a need, although we are not going to talk about that need, and everybody has a gap. Na huwa tunasema healthy marriage have 5 needs, 5 basic needs, and we had promised we are not sharing that today. We will share another time. But it's also, marriage is founded on 3 pillars. I think I'll talk about the pillars, and then the other needs, biblical needs, I'll talk about later. There are 3 pillars that holds the marriage together, so that we can be able to share. Every marriage, when 2 get married, except for an unhealthy way of getting married, but the healthy one, it should be based on the foundation. The foundation there is called love. For one to know that this is my partner, there must be that love. And we normally, counselors call it a sound, healthy relationship house. The foundation there should be love. I talked about 3 pillars. Then the standing pillars, once we are founded on it's like a house. A house is built on the foundation. The foundation is love, true love. And then the pillars that stand that house. Number 1 is trust. And trust is very important. Trust is the one that will help you to share. Because if you don't trust somebody, you can't share. You will not be able to share, because you are fearing may abandon you. Because already the person who have suffered traumatic event, there is that abandonment, feelings of abandonment, detachment, avoidance, all those signs are there. So unless they trust, there is trust, and you have built on trust, that somebody will not share. And then there's the last pillar. I said I'll talk about 3 is commitment and companionship. You see, if these 3 pillars are well established at the beginning, this somebody will be able to share. To share what happened, because there is trust. And we normally say you create an environment where somebody can share their traumatizing event. And during this time of sharing, number 1, we caution even the couples. Your partner is not a healer, and they cannot heal your traumatic issues. You need a professional. But there is what your partner act like a support system.
I like that.
And I'll just reveal a few tips on how you can share. So number 1, once there is trust, I said trust is a pillar, and it must be established there. If I trust you as my spouse, and I know you not expose me, you not damn me, I'm sure we are in love, we love one another, we have trust, I have trust on you, and I'm committed to this relationship to be your companion. I'll be able to share. How do you start sharing? The first thing you do when you start sharing, you allow expression. Just allow your partner to express what they have gone through, what experiences in the family of origin, how you are raised, that you create that.
Yes.
And if you suffered a traumatic event, don't hide and don't deny.
Yeah.
Because there is trust, you give your spouse an environment they can share. And then you give empathetic responses. Empathy is not sympathy.
Yes.
Empathy is where you moving and you want to enter into your partner's shoes. You're feeling, and you can be showing some empathetic statements like, I'm sorry, it didn't hurt you. You are empathetic, you're feeling like that person, and offer listening ears. We call it in counseling active listening, where you can you are listening the talk, but you also observant about the gestures. You see, there is hidden talk. They are, emotionally, you are picking even the emotional feelings of this person, the verbals and the non-verbals. Because I can be laughing. I'm sharing, we went to a party and it was good, and all of a sudden I'm laughing and smiling and tears are coming down. Those are called non-verbal communication. You must be very keen so that you can come back. Although you're not a professional, but you can come back and say, you are laughing, my dear, but I can see tears falling from your eyes. What happened? And you see, maybe that somebody have remembered how she was raped during that time, and tears just rolled down. So you have to have that active listening. Give space, give time. Time is very of essence. You meet together and you share, and you prepare that person that there's something that happened. Are you willing to share? Are you willing to listen? Are you willing to be with them? And when they are sharing, just talk those comforting words. I'm sorry you went through. It was so painful. It was hurtful. I'm sorry. Don't worry, I'm with you. Those comforting, empathetic words will help. Again, don't blame. And don't interject. They share. Allow the story to flow. Unless now it becomes too weighty on the person. You can interject those words of empathetic comfort. Don't be judgmental. Don't blame them. Kwa nini ulienda hapo ukiwa peke yako? Don't. That is being judgmental. Don't. Allow the flow, and then offer support. Your presence there means a lot. That's why we say presence is something that is very useful. And especially when somebody is under that situation, just being there, talking kind words, your presence, nodding, it's just, yes, I'm with you. I am feeling, I'm sorry you went through that. You're feeling a lot of pain. It is very hurting. Somebody just feel comforted, and it's a way of releasing those painful wounds that were caused during the traumatic event. And also, it's good to highlight the triggers. What normally keep reminding you of that event, so that you can sometimes avoid until your spouse is healed. And also promise to offer professional comfort or to professional advice. Seek advice. You can even front yourself. I'll take you. Are you willing? And you don't propose, but you suggest. Do you think it's important? Because I love you and I'm not intending to abandon you. That assurance that is instilling hope. I'm with you. I'll continue with you. Even if you went through hell, my love for you is assured. That's somebody, you create a very good environment. That's somebody who will be able to open up. And they can share and allow them to be themselves. If they are crying, offer that support. Over that crying shoulder, let them cry. Crying, we say crying is very therapeutic. It removes those wounds from the heart. Like now, if I tell you to start crying, can you be able? Because you don't manufacture tears. Tears are very weighty. they comes and with a lot, they takes that pains out. So allow them. Don't tell them stop crying like a baby, you be having funny, you know, I'm embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed. Give them time and space.
Yeah, they are healing.
That is the support system which can offer.
Yes.
And if you see that you cannot handle, that's when you offer them, you can take them, you suggest if it is okay, and allow them your company. You can accompany them so that we can be able to share this event.
That's true.
So you allow them to become. And also privacy and confidential.
That's it.
Don't just disclose anywhere. Let there be privacy. Yeah, there are those things we call them trauma dumping. Trauma dumping is when you just share your issues to anybody at the open place, and you know, there are some people who are like that. They can say anything in front of him. That is trauma dumping, and we don't want that. They are manipulating people with their issues. So what you do, you look for privacy, and then you share. And that is the support system you can give to your partner before you get married, so that you get into that holy institution when you are healed.
That is true. That is true. And even for they that are already, you know, in marriage, there's still that chance of, you know, disclosure, right? And sharing those experiences.
Yes.
Now, you spoke about one pillar, about trust. An amazing pillar in marriage. But probably this trust is lost.
Yeah.
How can it be, you know, rebuilt so that we can be able to share?
Trust is as I said earlier on, trust is very expensive. Trust. And many times marriage breaks because there is no trust. Again, trauma, especially sexual abuse, makes somebody lose trust with anyone. They will never trust anyone because, you know, they harassed when the person needed a lot of love or maybe protection. Sexual abuse make people lose trust with anybody, but it can be regained slowly by slowly. Not once, not at once. You can. I don't have keys to tell you can gain trust at once. It is built over a time. You start trusting with the smaller things, trusting with the bigger things, trusting, you continue like that. Then somebody is able to regain trust. And somebody can say, so there can be trusted people, like your spouse can be trusted. You give him money, you budget, they are just moving on. That is, those are stepping stones to building trust. Because trust is very expensive. Because it can hurt tremendously without trust.
That is true.
Yeah,
that is true. Thank you so much, Madam Virginia, for that. And it is you as a person and you in marriage to get into work and build that trust, so that you can be able to have that sharing, you know, position. You can get into a sharing position with your spouse. There is an incident whereby a child, let's get into the kids a little bit. An incident where a child went to Form 1 and they were monolized.
Bullying.
There's bullying and all that. Not only even in Form 1, but also in school in general. They were done all manner of things that brought traumatic experiences in them. But the parents are not anywhere to listen, even to listen. The child is trying to communicate, but the parents are busy up and about doing so many things. Can you kindly talk to parents on how they really need to give time to their children, listen to them, and be able to, so that, because those childhood experiences eventually, you know, resurface
during marriage or even in their life as they grow. We said any traumatizing effect will affect healthy relationship to this kid.
That's
Cannot trust anybody. They are withdrawn. Even performance drops. So it is very good. And you have mentioned a very good part. That's a very good issue.
Yeah.
Because the reason why we are seeing a lot of issues, children having suicide or committing suicide or even depressed. A kid that was very bright, performing very well, all of a sudden they drop in the academics. There is withdrawal. There is avoidance to activities they really loved doing, and there is detachment with the mother. Maybe before they used to love one another, they used to crack jokes, share stories, but after Form 2, you see the kid has withdrawn. And is detached from anybody in the family, cannot feed very well. I encourage the parents, please, these are your children. And if you lose your children, I think you lose everything in this life. So the first person to take care of is our children. And I would advise parents, create an environment where you can talk with your child.
I like that.
Because if you have no time to talk with your children, you know, they'll experience things and they are not easy to disclose. That we have said about bullying in high school. And sometimes young kids, by the way, you see a mother taking a child to this nursery school or what do we call them? Preschools. You see the child is angry, is crying violently. You should stop and listen to that kid, because that is a sign there's a problem. The child is crying violently just because there is something. But many times because of our busy schedules, we want to rush to work. The child is not cooperating. You beat. You are adding trauma, injury into another wood. And the child is creaking and looking, that teacher that abused me, I'm going back there. That's why they agitate. There is a lot of crying. There is a lot of violence. You should settle and listen, because the child is communicating something. For these other grown kids, you should also create time to share the experiences of the day. Create time in your family. Ask her, how was your day? How was your teacher? You know, you create that environment, the teacher will be able, the child will be able to say what happened. But if you are so busy, you are never absent mother, absent father, you leave the children with the house girl. House girl is also busy in the household doing shows. You see, there is no time. That child feels alone and they don't share. And those are the things that make them not have stable marriages in the future. So it's good. And if you let me give you an example of one of my neighbors. I'll not tell. Counselors are confident. You don't just share. But we roast. There's a time. There's a year we roast a neighbor's child. A Form 2. That child was coming. That boy was coming to tell the mother always. The parents. Both parents were there. I don't want to go back to that school. But the father was busy. The mother was busy. The father was a drunkard. So the mother was taking care of the children, paying all the school fees. So when the child said, I don't want to go back to that school, the mother said, with all the money I've paid there, you can't. You have to go and use that money. I cannot listen. So, and without reasoning, hata kama vumilia, you know, the parent is coming reassuring, vumilia, anamwambia mom, come and talk to my teachers, because I'm really suffering. But the mother is saying, no, I cannot transfer you. There is no possibility of transferring. I don't have time. If I come, we'll take care of these other children. What will happen? You know, I'll lose that job. And the mother was as busy as usual. Do you know this boy one time, when going to Form 3, he was given the check and the bus fare, the shopping. Instead of going to school, do you know he went and hanged himself? It was a disaster in the neighborhood. Suicidal. And we really cried because nobody knew the story. Only later on, the only boy of the mother So was the only boy.
Yeah.
And 2 other girls. So that boy went like that. What if, now I ask you parents, what if the mother stopped and listened? Or even took time and went to school with the kid?
Yeah.
You know, things could have been different.
Yes.
Yeah, because if you create a chance for that child to disclose, he'll be able to tell you more. Or even if you can't, get a counselor. Here we have counselors in Word of Faith Community College. Just come and book a session. So that and the counselors are confident people. They are able to keep secrets. And then once they share, you'll never hear it again. Let this child build a rapport with a counselor and share what they are going through in schools. That way you help the kid. But just pushing aside the kid, I don't have time. You can see, you know, sometimes even mothers share. I'm a mother. They tend to share their own I'm raising you alone. You cannot see this and this, and you push stories. You're causing more trouble to the child. So we should create time and share these things.
Oh my.
Yes.
I have really wanted us to continue on that point. But we will create time to you know, help parents, especially in that area, because there's a need. There's
a need for cancer, and many people don't know that counseling is important. Counseling is very, very important, but they do not know.
That's true. And on that point, especially because of you mentioned about counseling is very important. Why are people very fearful? Especially to seeking you know, counseling services. They like fear. Do they fear the fees?
No, number one is ignorant. Not many people know. See, I told you about this issue, this calamity that had struck our nation. Not many parents bothered even to know how the feelings of their children, how they took those issues. Even when they lose a parent, the children are normally pushed aside. Like they take care of the mother, they take care of maybe the father, they take care of the uncles, the auntie, the adults. But the children are just pushed aside just because of ignorance. Yet they are grieving and they are mourning. Who is listening to these kids? You know, we do counseling to kids. Yes, we take care of the kids because they are also emotional being. They are hurting. Who takes care of them? So number one is ignorance. Number two is fear of exposure. Because if I share my issues, I hear them the other place. I'm fearing. I don't want to hear my story anywhere. But let me promise you, our viewer, that counselors are professional counselors are confident people. They don't share. They keep private. And also you are protected by the rights. You do know clients have rights.
They do.
Yes. And counselors, they know clients have their rights. You should not publicize, and you can sue somebody if you share your confidence story and then you hear it anywhere. You can sue them, and you can be jailed as a counselor for revealing somebody's issue. So you are protected. And counselors know that. And also counselors, they know their rights, and they are confident people. They are professional. They have the skills. They are competent.
And they also regulated.
Very well. There is a counseling body. You have to be a registered counselor now to practice. So all those things are there, and people maybe don't know. So please, you can come and book counseling sessions, and also of course there are charges. Even in the hospital, don't we pay for clinic checkups and all this? So there are charges, of course. There's nothing for free, but they are minimal. It depends where. So there are some who charge a lot, like as much as 5,000 per session, others 4, others more. And but let me just promise, because it is doable. In our school, in our college there, we have a therapy room, and you have therapist. We only charge 2,000. So you can choose to, and you are helped. Yes. So counseling is charged, but it depends where. And we are professionals, and we thank God. We are activate body, so we are doing it professionally.
That's true.
Yes,
that's true.
Yeah,
and I can confirm that.
Yeah, you can confirm.
I can confirm.
Please.
Now, how much does it take
to
for a person to heal? Is there a time frame?
Oh, no time frame, because as people are different,
and issues
are different. Your traumatic event, whether it was an accident, we experience accident, all of us, we suffer differently, we heal differently, we are affected differently. So every individual is unique. You handle them as they come, and we cannot tell you take 2 years, like in loss and grief. Within 1-2 years people heal, because there is that, but there is also severe grief where it takes more than 2 years. So people go to issues differently, and they are affected differently. So you should handle every individual as a person differently.
That is true.
Yeah, and give them time to heal. Walk with them the journey until they are able to heal. But healing is available.
It is.
Help is available, and healing is possible. Many people, even if it's a PTSD, healing is possible. It is possible. So you can consult and you can be healed.
Wow. Wow. Madam Virginia.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Most welcome.
I know we will have another episode with you, and even more to come.
Yes.
She's really loaded. I can tell you, she just scratched the floor. But we know we are going to continue with that. But even before we finish this episode, maybe you can repeat where they can find you for that help which is available.
Help is available. We are located at Kiambu. We are called Word of Faith Community College. It's a TVET institution. We train so many courses. We train counselors. We train all other courses, cosmetology, catering. We do fashion and design. We do ICT, and we do metalwork. We have so many courses across there. But we have set a therapy room for the purpose of helping people.
True.
And I said that our fee is very minimized. You can come, book, and then I'm not the only therapist. There are so many. We avoid a dual relationship. So if I know you can, I cannot cancel you, because there will be dual relationship. I'll book you with another therapist. And there are also referrals. In case your issue, you feel you are not helped, we can always refer you to another professional. So that's how we go about it. And everybody is welcome. Most welcome.
Thank you.
God bless
you. Thank you so much. We will be back.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, because we have not touched about the spiritual healing.
Yes. We definitely.
Because counseling is again biblical. Very biblical.
We will continue with that. That will be our next episode, but we will plan for that.
Okay.
And thank you so much for coming.
Yes,
God bless you so much. Our viewer, Mungu akubariki sana sana, and thank you. And even before we finish, I want to tell you this, that yes, you can fix your eyes on Jesus.
Yes.
Even when you're going through that traumatic experience, take it to Jesus. Take it to the feet of Jesus. He's going to, the Bible says that cast your burdens unto him. So look unto Jesus, who is the author and the finisher of your faith, who can take you from cross you from death to life. And he has done it already for you through the cross. So keep praying, keep pushing, seek help. The counselors are readily available for you, and you're going to have a fruitful relationship, and your marriage will be intact. Let's cancel divorces, let's cancel separations, ziishe kabisa, because the intention and the purpose of God for marriage is for them to work. And they work. So thank you. Keep talking to us on the number on your screen, and even on our Facebook and YouTube page at PrayerCaveTV. My name is Ken Campbell, and until then, in our next episode, shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.